My God, I'm so lonely, so I open the window to hear sounds of people, to hear sounds of people. Hey, what's up? It's Nate from Echo City Music Lab. Today I'm doing a piano tutorial for Nobody by Mitski. I love this song. When it came out a few years ago, I really liked it when I heard it, and then recently I was teaching it to a student, and just getting to know the song better, I really fell in love with it. It's got a really interesting, kind of weird piano part, but it's not too tricky to learn. So here we are. I wanted to make a video for it. Let's just jump into it. So there's a couple exceptions, but for pretty much this whole song, the left hand is going to be doing fifths. So that's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the interval of a fifth. And it's just going to be moving around on fifths. And the right hand, for most of the song, is doing thirds. So just, 1, 2, 3, thirds. I recommend getting the chords and lyrics sheet. I put a link down in the description that'll help you follow along and see where the different chords line up with the words that you sing. So we'll start with the verse, and we'll start with the left hand. So here's the chord progression. For the G sus4 chord, we're just going to do G fifths. So we're naming the fifth based on the bottom note. So G fifths is G and D. So that's the first measure. And every one of these chords is going to last one measure. We're in 4/4 time, so it's 4 counts per measure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, we've got the G over F chord, and this is actually already the one exception where it's not fifths, it's actually sixths. So our thumb's going to stay on that D, and our pinky's going to step down to F. So we got F and D for that moment. Next, we've got F, just going to be F fifths. Our pinky's going to stay there, thumb's going to move down to C. Then, next, we've got the E minor chord, and it's just going to be E fifths. So E and B. So that's for the My God, I'm so lonely, so I open the window. That'll sound more like it when we add the right hand in a moment, but let's just finish up the progression for the left hand. So after the E fifths, we're going to walk down to D fifths for the D minor 7, then down to C fifths for the C9, back up to the D fifths, and then back up to the E fifths. So that's the entire left hand for the verse progression. Notice, after you do the stepping down to the sixth thing and then landing on the F fifths, from there, you're just stepping down stepwise all the way down to C and then back up to E. My God, I'm so lonely, so I open the window to hear sounds of people, to hear sounds of people. And I just want to say I'm a little self-conscious because this song is too high for my voice, but I like to teach songs in the key that they are recorded in. My guess is for a lot of you, this will be a good key to sing it in, but it's bad for me. So let's fill in the right hand. For the G sus4, we're going to do fourths in the right hand. There's the exception to the right hand doing thirds. So we're doing the G fifths here, and then the right hand's going to do G and C. For the My God, and then for I'm so lonely, this is where the left hand steps to sixth. The right hand is going to do G and B. So the go from the fourth finger down to the third finger there. Lonely, so I. Now for the F fifths, these thirds are just going to step down to F and A. So F and A for the F fifths. Then from here on out, the right hand is mostly just going to be stepping up thirds each time. So left hand goes down to the E fifths, right hand steps up to G and B. Left hand then goes down to the D fifths, right hand steps up to A and C. Then left hand steps down to C fifths, right hand steps up to B and D. Now they step up together. Left hand goes up to the D fifths, right hand does C and E, and then finally left hand steps up to the E fifths, right hand does D and F. So if we're looking at just the right hand, we've got G and C, G and B, F and A, G and B, so stepping up here, A and C, B and D, C and E, D and F. And the piano teacher in me wants to tell you not to just hop your hand like that for the whole time. Make some use of like stepping up 1 and 3, 2 and 4, 3 and 5, but you can just hop if you want. I'm going to play through that in time with both hands together. My God, I'm so lonely, so I open the window to hear sounds of people, to hear sounds of people. So when we get to this E minor here for people, notice there's a little asterisk on the chord chart because there's this little melody that you do in the right hand. I wanted to draw attention to that. This is the... And this is actually a good reason to not be hopping around. If you can get used to doing it that way, 3 and 5, 2 and 4, 1 and 3, it'll sound a little bit smoother. And the timing on that is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And so using some eighth notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And then we're halfway through the first verse. So the first verse is 2 times through this progression. So we just did the My God, I'm So Lonely one. We get to that. And we've got Venus, planet of love was and then that's the same progression again. And before we do the next section, I want to give you a little tip for singing this. And this is something I didn't realize until I taught it. It was one of the moments I had with the song where I was just like, wow, this song is cooler than I thought it was. The vocal note you start the first verse on is an A. So that's my. Sometimes if you're having trouble finding it, you can just play the note as you practice it. My God, I'm so lonely. Then when you get to the second half of the verse where it starts over again, it's not the same thing, actually. It starts on a B. Venus, planet of love. So the first melody is da 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 da. The second melody is da 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 da. So it's like the same thing, but up a whole step. Okay, so now we're on the pre-chorus. We'll start again with the left hand for this, and this is just gonna actually be fifths the whole time. So here's the progression. So for the A minor, you're doing A fifths, A and E, 2, 3, 4. Stepping down to G fifths, G and D, 2, 3, 4. Stepping down to F fifths, 2, 3, 4. So that's F and C. Then you make a jump down to C fifths, so C and G. Then you go back up to A, so big jump to A, stepping down again to G fifths, stepping down to F fifths. And this time, rather than going all the way down to C, you go to D fifths. So that's going to be D and A. So that's the first half of the pre-chorus. It's, and I don't want your pity, I just want somebody near me. Guess I'm a coward, I just want to feel alright. Let's add in the right hand. And again, this is just going to be thirds the whole time. And it's going to be just going mostly back and forth between C and E and B and D. I'll probably use 2 and 4 and 1 and 3. You can hop if you like. But here's how it goes. We've got A fifths in the left hand and then C and E there in the right. When it steps down to G, the thirds are going to step down to B and D. Then when it goes to the F major 7th, the thirds are going to step back up to C and E. And then when it jumps down to C, they're just going to stay on C and E. And then they stay there again when you go back up to A. Then they're going to step down on the G and then back up to C and E and staying on C and E. So come to think of it, you're just doing C and E this whole time unless it's on one of the 2 G chords we did, in which case it steps down to the B and D. And when the pre-chorus hits, the energy raises up a notch. We're going to start doing quarter notes in the right hand. So just one hit on every count. And I don't want your pity, I just want somebody near me. Guess I'm a coward, I just want to feel alright. And now for the second half, it pretty much just repeats. And I know no one will save me, I just need someone to kiss. Here's where it gets different. Instead of jumping back up after the C, it starts stepping up. So after this, you're going to stay on the C and E here, but it steps up to the D for the D minor 7. So D fifths here, D and A. Give me one good honest. And here, we are going to step down to B and D as we step up to E and B here. Kiss and I'll be oh. And then when we get to the F major 7 here, as you would probably guess, it steps up to F fifths, and we're going to step back up to C and E before finally landing on C. This is the last chord before the chorus, and you'll see the little asterisk on this C. Actually, for this C, I want to be on 3 and 5 for the C and E, because we've got the ba, 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 and that's sort of the last thing you hear before the chorus hits. Same rhythm we talked about at the end of the verse progression. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So let me just play through that second half of the pre-chorus again, and I'm actually changing my mind about which fingers to use. I'm going to use 3 and 5 on the C and E and 2 and 4 on the B and D, because that way I'll already be in position when I want to go ba, ba, ba. Again, you can do whatever feels best for your hand. And I know no one will save me, I just need someone to kiss. Give me one good honest kiss and I'll be alright. Nobody. So yeah, we're at the chorus. Okay, so once again we'll learn the left hand first for the chorus, and it is all fifths again. And once we get to this chorus, the energy changes a little bit. We're going to start doing quarter notes in our left hand. So there's going to be that pulse from the low fifths. It starts on the D minor, so D fifths, D and A. 1, 2, 3, 4. For the G6, you're going to go up to G fifths. That sounds weird. It's a G6 chord, but the left hand's doing G fifths. So G and D, down to C, up to F, 2, 3, 4, down to D, 2, 3, back up to G, 2, 3, 4. Now for this last part, it's jump back down to C, and it's just going to be stepping up to F. C, 2, 3, 4, D, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4. So let's have the right hand, and the right hand's just going to hold it out for whole notes. So the pulse is from the left hand, the right hand just kind of hits the chords and holds them. So D, for the D minor, you got the D fifth in the right hand, and you're just gonna do F and A here in the right hand for nobody, no. For the G6, your left hand's gonna go up to those G fifths, and the right hand's gonna do G, B, and E. So this is a 3-note chord, and I would use my second finger on that B. Nobody. And then this is kind of convenient when you get to the C, C major 7, your right hand can stay in the same spot. Do the same 3 notes. Sounds really good. So left hand C fifths, right hand G, B, E. So nobody, no. Going up to the F fifths, and for the F major 7, we're gonna just do like an A minor chord basically in the right hand. A, C, E, nobody. Ooh. For the D minor, we're gonna go back to what we just did at the start of the chorus. F and A. Nobody, no. Same thing for the G6. G, B, E, nobody. And notice this whole sequence at the end has little asterisks that I put on it because this is one of the more involved kind of lead piano parts in the song. It sounds like this. So I'll go through that right hand rhythm slowly, and I actually just want to double check that I have this right. So I'm just going to listen real quick. Okay, I was right. I don't want to take too long on this though. It's a little tricky, and if you need to simplify it, that's cool too. So on C, it's just going to step down those thirds with that same rhythm we've been doing, the 1, 2, and 3, and 4. The next thing that happens is it steps down those thirds again, but it actually anticipates the beat a little. So right before you hit to the D, it's going to do it again. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. And then you're going to step down on 2 and so 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and. Are you still with me? Then you're going to do one more stepping down of those top 2 thirds, the D thirds and the C thirds, on the and after 3 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you just kind of hold the C thirds there. So far we got 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and you just hold it there, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, and. So on the 3 and of that measure, the E fifths measure, we've got B and D and D and F. 3 and. So one more time, everything we got. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and. And then on the final measure of the F fifths, you're going to jump your hand up and you're going to do this little melody that I think it plays on pretty much every eighth note. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and it's just going A, C, G, A, C, G, A, C. That part sounds nice if you add the sustain pedal to make those notes ring out a little bit. And then right there, we're gonna go to the next verse. I've been biggin', yeah, this one starts on an A vocal note. So this next verse is the exact same chord progression as the first verse. It's half as long, though. It's just one pass through the chord progression before it goes to the pre-chorus. And we're going to keep some of that energy up. When we get to this verse, I think I'm going to go back to whole notes in the left hand, but do quarter notes in the right hand. So if this is the I've been big and small, and big and small, and big and small again, and still nobody wants me. And then we're in the pre-chorus. And this pre-chorus is just like the first pre-chorus, except it's also twice as short. And I'm going to pick up the energy even more here and do the quarter notes in both hands. And I know no one will save me. I'm just asking for a kiss. Give me one good movie kiss and I'll be alright. And now we are in the last chorus. And this chorus starts off just like the first chorus, except for it kind of pulls back. So there's actually going to be no pulsing rhythm. It's just going to be whole notes. We get kind of quiet here. Nobody, 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 nobody. Ooh, nobody, 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 nobody. So here we've got C major 7, and now we're going to kind of transition to the outro. So C major 7, just like we did it before, same voicing, and then it goes to F major 7, same voicing as before. Nobody, and this is way too high. I'm going to sing this part down an octave, but this is transitioning into this outro section. Nobody, nobody, nobody. So this is just a 4-measure progression that repeats a few times. We'll do the left hand fifths first. So for the G minor, you're doing G fifths, G and D. Nobody, nobody. Up to C fifths, C and G. D, nobody. Down to F fifths. Nobody, nobody. So these are B flat fifths. We haven't seen those yet. It's B flat and F. And the right hand's just going to do thirds, just 2 different thirds that it's between. For the G fifths, it's going to do B flat and D. Then when it goes up to the C chords, we're going to do C thirds, so C and E. Nobody. For the F major 7, it's going to stay on those C and E thirds. And then for the B flat chord, it's going to drop back down to that B flat and D. And then when it loops around, it stays on that. And there are 2 lines of this. The left hand's going to go back to pulsing the quarter notes. The right hand's just going to hold the thirds. Nobody, 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 nobody. So we're getting ready to change the key again up to G sharp minor. And we're getting into some pretty weird territory. As we get to this outro, you notice that my rhythm on the nobody changes. She starts really playing with the rhythm in these weird ways. I sort of feel like it's not a good use of energy to try to reproduce exactly how she does it. I sort of feel like she was probably improvising a little bit in the moment. She might not do it the same way every time when she does it live. So I did take the time to make sure that the syllables of the words line up with where the chords are on the chord sheet, so it's accurate to her recording. But if that feels like it's tripping you up, just be loose with it and do whatever comes naturally. And that's especially true when we get to this last stretch of the outro where it modulates up a half step and you're doing the G sharp. her vocals kind of step back and there's a lot of reverb on it, and she's just sort of in this wash. Nobody. So don't sweat the rhythm too much. But yeah, this last little bit is just a few more lines through this chord progression, but everything is up a half step from where it was. So instead of the G fifths, you're doing G sharp fifths, right? So we've got G sharp fifths up to C sharp fifths, so that's C sharp and G sharp, then down to F sharp fifths, so F sharp and C sharp, then up to B fifths, so B and F sharp. So all black keys except for the B in those fifths. And the right hand also plays the exact same thing, the same pattern and sequence that you did a second ago, except everything's up a half step. So instead of the B flat and D, you're doing a B and D sharp here and stepping up to C sharp and F. Nobody, 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 no. So just being loose with the vocals, buddy, and then especially here, the rhythm stops. This is the final moment. It's just one more time through this chord progression, but just holding it out. Nobody, 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 no. So the G sharp minor is the last chord you play, but then there's one last nobody, no, without the chord changes. And the last thing I want to say about this is, just like I said, you can be loose. You don't have to get her rhythm exactly right through the section. You also don't have to do this whole section with all the modulation. If you want to just kind of end it with the last regular chorus, that could be cool too. I think this part of the recording is super cool, but they have this dance groove going, and it's sort of like you want the music to keep going because maybe you're dancing. For a solo piano version, if you want to find a different way to end it a little sooner, I think that would work too. All right, we did it. That was all the parts. I'm going to do a full run through now so you can see how all the parts fit together. If you found this valuable, I'd appreciate it if you give it a like, drop a comment letting me know what you want to see next. And if you're new here, welcome. Make sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you know when I put out more videos like this. Okay, so here's my version of Nobody, and I'm going to sing it in the same octaves she does, even though it doesn't fit my voice very well. And just for the last chorus and outro, I think I'm going to go down the octave. Otherwise, it's way too high for me. But if your voice can go way up there, you don't have to follow me down. My God, I'm so lonely, so I open the window to hear sounds of people, to hear sounds of people. Venus, planet of love, was destroyed by global warming. Did its people want too much to? Did its people want too much? And I don't want your pity, I just want somebody near me. Guess I'm a coward, I just want to feel alright. And I know no one will save me, I just la, D.